Before I start this video, I have a Facebook group called Job Seekers in Germany. This is one of the most active Facebook groups I can tell you for job seekers, for any kind of job. The first link in the description, that's where you can be part of. And yeah, if you have any questions, I have my team members who are part of this Facebook group to answer your questions. Alright guys, welcome back once again. I'm not going to take much time of yours, getting straight to the point. Watch this video till the last. This is super important for someone who's looking out for jobs in marketing, finance, non-tech job, non-engineering job, non-IT job. If you fall in any of these categories, make sure that you watch this video from starting till the end. I can assure you one thing about today's video is the information which are shared in this video. I learned a lot of things with people who were sitting around me.
Alright guys, welcome back once again. This is the third episode of Let's Talk Today. I'm sitting here with Kunal on my left and Anshuman on my right. Kunal is a special guest on today's episode. Yeah, Kunal, why don't you just give us a quick introduction of
Sure. Hey guys, I've been in Germany for almost 3 years now. After completing my MBA over here, I have moved on to being a lecturer for finance, accounting, strategy, and business administration at various leading German universities over here. I'm really happy to be on this show and give you guys a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of tips that can maybe put you in the world of finance and what it is to succeed over here in Germany for all management and strategy and finance related topics.
That was crisp. Just so you guys are aware of, both these guys are actually my mentors. I learned a lot of things from both of them, and I thought why not to bring these mega monster brain onto my channel to speak about. Today's focus of episode is mainly to talk about how can job seekers who are not in tech, not in IT background, don't come from engineering, have done commerce or art. Since you come from finance and you're teaching finance to a lot of people like me, and he taught finance to me, that's actually a fact.
And you did quite well in the exam, I remember.
He's a good student as well.
He was pretty decent.
Apart from being a good blogger, he's also a good student. That's nice. That's nice.
What advice? I'm sure you do get a lot of questions too about like, hey, I've done commerce. I graduated like 8 years back, and I somehow stumbled upon into doing accounting in one of the company.
Okay.
Now I'm looking out for job change abroad, probably in Germany or Europe.
Okay.
With respect to Germany, what advice do you have?
Let's say when you talk about job seeker visa or opportunities in Germany, as we know, in Germany there are roughly 60 regulated job profiles or professions. So regulated means, for example, being a doctor or being in certain technicalities when it comes to being an engineer. These professions basically involve some sort of additional qualification or test that you have to take if you want to be working in Germany. Mm-hmm. So that's the regulated profession part. And then there's the non-technical that you're referring to.
Yeah.
So being in finance or being in, well, finance also some parts are kind of technical, but as a commerce graduate or an arts graduate or somebody in I don't know, movie industry doing FX, etc. At the moment, I think there are about more than 1 million open positions across Germany. For 2017, I think it was 1.2 million. And at the moment it's about 1 million. So we've been able to fill 200,000 jobs in 2 years. So you can imagine the size of the pie that there is to be taken. As a commerce graduate, if you have a university degree and you have some relevant experience and you speak a little bit of German, little bit means A1 or A2, you stand a very high chance of securing a relevant position. Could be any city that you don't know, but of course Berlin, for example, is now coming up as the hotspot for a lot of startups, especially after Brexit, which is still, don't know where it is. But a lot of companies have already made up their mind and setting up bases in Germany. So
I think we all focus a great deal on IT related jobs, and it's kind of a misnomer that you should only be coming abroad if you're an IT related guy or girl for that matter. I think that is a myth that we need to debunk. If you are sitting in Delhi and if you're doing a course in marketing or you have some relevant experience in marketing and want to bring those tools with you over here to Berlin, I would say that your skill set is compatible, very compatible, I would say, albeit you should be taking care of certain upskilling techniques, such as being very aware of the specific industry and the sector in which you want to position yourself into. By that means, if you want to be going into fast-moving consumer durables, be aware of the deals that happen over here, that happen in Europe, see what kind of techniques they've employed, and basically educate yourself and upskill yourself. And you live in the world of the internet now, where information is at our fingertips all the time. There's no rhyme or reason why you can't know about what's going on in your specific industry that you either want to build on, or the industry that you want to shift towards. Marketing student wise also, you should be aware of cultural nuances as well, because you have to speak the language of the people. Not that means speaking German fluently, but understand what makes their mind tick culturally. So you should be aware of certain nuances, and by that entrench yourself to a certain degree in the German culture too, and bring that into your portfolio, or bring that into your skills that you're going to be representing when you do these jobs.
Right.
Learning a little bit of German is certainly helpful, indeed. Marketing more so than for number-based professions. So if you're marketing, I would say up your skill to around B1 for sure. Take that into consideration, but that's something I assume you already know, so that shouldn't come as a shock to you. But what you should know is that there's a massive scope for marketing, especially in the field, as Nikhilesh says, digital marketing, social media marketing. These are huge spheres which are looking for international collaboration.
Yeah, it's a fair point actually what you mentioned, Kunal. So absolutely, the language skills also depends on what kind of profession you're looking for. If you want to go into hospitality, you need to be able to speak the language. Also need to be very well aware of the culture nuances that you mentioned. And these things will basically set you up for success. Because there are two things. One, finding a job, which in the given scenario could be easier, but to be able to perform at that job and to be able to stick around, that could be a challenge.
True.
Right.
And that's why you need these things that Kunal just talked about. True. Another thing also that is also sometimes underlooked is being a teacher. So you could be, if you're good at English, if you're an English teacher, you have some degrees in that respect, you could be an English teacher here as well. There's a huge demand.
There's a huge demand.
So Germany is now at a stage where it's starting to accept that English is also a language, and it's starting to kind of become one of the mainstream languages of business these days. And a lot of people are willing to learn English, and so if you are an English professional, you could very well be teaching here.
Fair point.
And a very respected profession as well.
Okay, we spoke about like multiple professions. Now we spoke about finance, we spoke about marketing, we spoke about teacher now, but I want to bring back this talk to finance. We are into this dynamic world. We all know that world is changing faster than ever it was. I want to get to know from you is in financial world, fintech is getting really big.
Right.
You name a country, everybody's coming up with an app, and everybody's dealing their transaction from app to app, right? I, who was doing accounts payable all my life, right? Where is my position in today's world?
Right. Well, see, principles of finance always remain the same. The application of it can take various different routes on how you want to end up paying people, how you want to end up managing your accounts, but the principles of the account balancing will always remain the same. Now we're coming up with more efficient and more slicker tools in order to manage your finances, but the underpinning of your education and the underpinning of your knowledge will always be applicable towards. What is fintech is essentially a synthesis between finance and technology at the end of the day. So the principles of finance are going to meet the principles of technology, and that's why you have this melting pot of two fantastic spheres. So if you are into finance and you're saying, well, I know nothing about tech, well, leave that to the tech guys. Okay, leave that to the tech guys. The tech guys are not going to step on your domain to learn finance, and the finance guys are not going to step on the tech guys to learn tech, because that's just insane, right? So don't think your skills are not relevant at all. They are highly relevant, and fintech, in fact, is a very sweet spot, which is, in fact, hiring and growing at such a massive degree. And the demands for finance professionals who are digitally savvy, that doesn't mean knowing how to program, but knowing what's going on and how the power of technology can be harnessed in the world of finance is something that you show awareness of. You can use it to your advantage.
Right. I mean, if I would have said the same things, they wouldn't have taken that. You know, that's the point. But what I feel is like, you know, my suggestion, if you ask me, is if you're a finance guy, if you're a accounting guy, do come on job seekers visa. Try to look out for a job. You will never regret. If you don't get anything in the end, you can always go back to the job where you are right now. You can always go back to a job which pays you ultimately. Not in India, abroad somewhere, Malaysia, Dubai, Middle East, somewhere. So I think that's my take. I mean, that's what I feel like.
So, I like statistics, and since we're talking about finance,
yeah, numbers.
So roughly 38 to 40% of the candidates who come here on job seeker visa find a job within 6 months.
Sure.
And it also could take for some up to 12 months to find a job, but I think 40% success rate within 6 months is quite a good number, right?
Sure.
You've got to make efforts for sure.
Of course.
But here's something that basically gives us some confidence that it's not just wasting time or money or talent.
Sure.
When you come in here, you put your efforts, you do get somewhere.
You raise a very valid point. I think especially in the area of finance and accounting, there are a lot of parallels to be drawn between Indian accounting standards and German accounting standards. They both work on IFRS standard, and that's a big advantage. If you're from America and they're working on IASB, that's a whole different ballgame. But there's already a nice cultural bridge in terms of the accounting standards between India and Germany. So already the standards and the techniques that they utilize over here in areas of accounting and finance. Right. Yes, they have their own standard of HGB, and if you want, you can upskill yourself on learning HGB a little bit on your own, so you are prepared when you come over here, and that way you are very diversified and versatile in your skills. But you have skills which are relevant over here, and how much effort you put into making those skills polished, known, seen, that is completely on you.
There's a link to my government website where you can actually validate your degree. So whatever finance or accounting degree you have, you can put in there, you can check the validity and what do you have to do to upskill yourselves to be more relevant to the German labor market in terms of the finance domain.
I'm going to ask the last question to both of you. Someone sitting in India wants to come to Germany on job seekers visa, and ultimately his goal is, or her goal is, to find a job. What is your thought individually, please?
In finance or in general?
In finance, department, he or she is looking out for a job.
For me, it's quite simple. Decide.
Okay, decide.
Do you wanna do it or not? That's the key step, because what people do is they're not sure.
Right.
They want to gather all the information, still not sure want to do it or not.
Right.
So for me, you decide, I want to do it or not. When you want to do it, then make a plan and act that plan. This is as simple as that. And there that's binary. Yes, make a plan, act that plan, and there are a lot of steps in between, which gather information, fill the forms, make the steps. But 3 things most important: decide. I want to do it, don't want to do it. Make a solid plan and act that plan. And there's nothing more to it. And stay positive. If you take that step, you will make it work.
Definitely.
Right.
For me, that's all.
Definitely. I agree 100%. I think self-awareness, be very aware of what your skills are, what you're good at, what you're not good at. Knowing your weaknesses is as important as knowing your strengths. And if you think your weakness is something major, then you know what to work on. If you know what your strength is, then amplify your strength and project that strength. And this has to come out in your CV, this has to come out in your online profile, this has to come out in your interview. So self-awareness is very key. Knowing which area of finance you want to go in is also very essential. We have many streams of finance. You have corporate finance, structured finance, you have fixed finance, you have VC related finance. So know which area of finance you want to go into as well. Make this very polished plan and stick to it and just go for it. There's nothing else that can stop you but apart from yourself.
Right. Thanks. You really filled the steps between make a plan, act that plan. There you go. Great work. This is exactly what we were talking about.
One-two punch.
If you're really sure you wanna come to Germany, and let's say you wanna find a job in Germany, I'd say take that step. You have a much higher chances of hitting the success rate while you're in the country looking for a job than being rare. Because when you're here, you're also every day learning the cultural aspects and the cultural nuisance you were referring to before. And it's really important. You meet people, you go out, you see how things function. It'll make your overall landing much more easier than when you're in India, you found a job, and then it's going to be very, I will not say impossible, but difficult. So come here, give yourself 6 months, do all you can.
Definitely.
And make it work.
I can add to that as well. I think what's really important is to communicate your intent. Are you communicating your intent from the comfort of a couch hundreds of thousands of miles away, or are you really showing to your potential employer that, look, I really want this. I've come all the way over here. I've sacrificed myself to come over here because I really want to be a part of your firm and your company. And my plan, yes, is to stay over here in Germany. And I've shown that to you by taking that willingness to sacrifice, to come here for just 6 months, which is not the end of the world, to really be a part of your organization. So I think expressing your intent is equally important as feeling how much you want it. So unless you express that, it means nothing. And the person you want to express it to is your potential employer in Germany.
I can validate that 100% what you just said, because it's my personal experience. I remember I was when I was interviewing for the job that I still have. It's been 10 years. I'm that old. Don't look like this. I am. My boss asked me. The then boss asked me. He was interviewing me. So you came all the way from India to study and to find a job here? I said yes, and I want to do it. And what you just said is exactly what he was impressed with.
Right.
And I got the job. I was not that good, believe me. I was not that good 10 years ago when I don't even know if I deserved to have that job. I think they gave it to me based on that commitment, that step. They were amazed. They said, you know what? I live in Berlin since 38 years. I never left Berlin. And they thought, there's this little tiny guy who left his country, came here for a job. I need to try it out. So absolutely agree with what you said. And that's, guys, that's I think that's the crux of all of this. How much are you willing to do this? What risks are you willing to take? What are you what are you allowing to let go? To get what you want?
Like they say, sometimes the biggest risk is not taking a risk at all.
Absolutely.
And if opportunity doesn't knock on your door, go and build that door. Come over here and knock on people's doors in Berlin. I'm sure someone will welcome you in.
Well said.
Do I even have to exist in this video or not? Oh my god. That was beautifully put out. I think this is why I started my video by saying I learned so much from these guys. This is one of the reasons. I think I would like to end this video today.
Alright guys, thanks a lot Kunal, thanks a lot Anshuman for this episode. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on my email ID. Write a proper email, otherwise that will straight away be dumped. Okay, because I've said this multiple times, I'm saying it again. You may not be the person who's doing that, but there are some people who write everything in subject line.
Right. Or just one line
one
emails.
Line.
Like,
hey bro,
hey, can you help me?
Yeah, that doesn't help. That doesn't work in Germany, you know. Or you forwarded 50 emails to one company looking out for a job. You send the same email to me.
Sure.
Like that forward thing is on top, and I can see that.
At least be smart about it. Yeah. Help him, help you.
Exactly. You know, if you help me, I'm willing to help you guys by reviewing your CV, cover letter, going over your LinkedIn, Zing. If you want full service about job seekers, we are there. But again, first step has to come from you before we take our further steps from here. Alright, on this note, I would like to say goodbye and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Cheers.